Javed Al Jazeera English. My question for Secretary Blinken, I just want to go back to the words that you used. You said the deal was on the table, and yet there are workable parts that you will be working towards. Which one is it? Was there a deal, or is there still a deal on the table? And as the UN Security Council and the United Nations at large remains the cornerstone for your policy towards finding a solution, today the latest UN investigation says Israel committed crimes against humanity, including extermination, is the words used. And Israel is already facing a genocide case at the ICJ, warrants for requests at the ICC. And last month you said there are no red lines for Israel. Is that still the case? And if there is, what will this mean for yourself and the U.S. administration? My question for the Prime Minister, isn't the first time that we're actually came very close to a deal and then we seem to be moving away from it. You have said that there are two parties to this conflict, one that wants a negotiated solution and there's another one which wants to continue the war. Do you believe that is still the case? And if you still have hope that there can be a deal that can be salvaged, what gives you that hope? Thank you.
Thank you. As I said, we have a proposal that President Biden put forward 12 days ago. Israel accepted the proposal. The entire world got behind the proposal. Hamas came back and has now asked for changes to that proposal. And I'll repeat what I said. Some of the changes I think we believe are workable, but some are not. And so we'll have to see over the coming days whether the gaps that are there as a result of Hamas not accepting with a clear and simple yes proposal, whether they can be bridged or not. And as I said, I believe that they are bridgeable, but that doesn't mean they will be bridged, because ultimately Hamas has to decide. But I'll repeat again what I said before. The time for decision is now. The longer this goes on, the more people will suffer. And when it took 12 days just to get the response to the proposal that President Biden put forward, more suffering took place during those 12 days. The longer this continues, the greater the suffering will be. And I fully agree with the Prime Minister. The fastest, most effective way to get to not just an immediate ceasefire, but a durable one, is through this proposal. So let's see if we can bridge the remaining gaps. But fundamentally, Hamas has to decide what it wants, and I can't speak for it. When it comes to the war and the conduct of the war in response to the attacks of October 7th, we look and continue to look very carefully at international humanitarian law, at laws of armed conflict, human rights, and we have a number of our own processes within the U.S. administration, including within my own department, to assess whether Israel or any other combatant in any other conflict is adhering to those. And as you know, we put out a report a few weeks ago that went through in some detail a number of incidents that have been raised, both in terms of the loss of life and killing of people, as well as the provision of humanitarian assistance. It's a very well-documented report, and we continue to do the work to make our own assessments. I haven't seen the most recent, I think you said UN report that you referred to, but of course we'll look at that. Again, as I just said, we are determined and insist that Israel or any other country adhere to international humanitarian law, the laws of armed conflict, uphold human rights, does not commit gross violations of those rights, and that remains and will always remain our policy and the focus that we bring to it every day, including doing our own investigations of incidents that come up in the course of this war.
And I think that I have answered partially your question regarding, trying to build a momentum to reach a deal. Of course, this is, it has been a very long process. It's frustrating a lot of times, and we have seen, the behavior from both parties, different occasions, being, counterproductive to the efforts. Right now, we are respecting our role as mediator. We are trying our best not to consider ourselves as, party of that conflict. What we are aiming for is one specific goal, is to end the war and to end the suffering of the people in Gaza, to get the hostages back, and then we think about the day after. That will remain our main focus. We are not going to give up on that mission as long as we see a role that we can play and we can contribute to save more lives.
السؤال الرابع ديفاني سيلوديكس